Judge Wish, Courtroom 1, Session 1. Can I please have the parties announce themselves for the record?
Kathy Kennedy Swanson on behalf of the Office of State Attorney.
Brian Wynn on behalf of the Office of Public Defender.
All right, good morning, sir. Can you please tell me your name?
Gil Hans Perez Jr.
All right, Mr. Perez, you're here in 2019, CF 9188AO. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant which probable cause was found for failing to update your driver's license or identification card as a sexual offender. I'm gonna appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Your bond will be set at $3,500. You do have reporting requirements, even at the jail, okay? Please tell me your name.
Modesto Luis Ruiz, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Ruiz, you're here in 2019 CF 9059AO. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was found for failing to register and report or re-register and report as a sexual offender. Your bond is set at $2,500. You do have reporting requirements even at the jail, okay?
Excuse me, ma'am, but I won my case in New York with Melanie Slaughter, and they told me I don't have to register anymore.
Okay, well, there's a warrant, it's probable cause was found, and you need to register. So you already went to prison for the same offense and.
Yeah, but
got
it was the
released
same
in
defense from New York.
Well, you still have to register in Florida. You already went to prison for the same offense, so you should understand that. Okay? No, he didn't fill out a PD form. I'm gonna appoint the PD for him. Sorry, I didn't even notice that he didn't fill out a form. So, but I'm gonna appoint the PD for him.
Okay, thank you.
All right, please tell me your name.
My name is Orlisa Dixon.
Okay, do we know what happened to Chef File?
Can we pass by?
Sure, absolutely. Ms. Dixon? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Ms. Dixon, you're here in 2019 MM5342 AO, and you were arrested for petty theft. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. You cannot go back to 2500 South Kirkman Road, that Walmart. You may not have any contact with any listed victim or witness in the case. And your bond will stay at $250, unless there's an offer from the state.
There is not.
Okay, all right.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, please tell me your name.
Jason Roberts.
All right, do we know what happened to Hodges?
Mental health?
Okay. Reset him. Mr. Roberts. You're here in 2019, CF 9229AO. You were arrested for 3 counts of aggravated assault with a firearm. I do find probable cause. Were you planning on hiring your own attorney? You didn't fill out a PD form.
No, I'm gonna stick with the public defender.
Okay, well, you didn't fill out a form, unless you did, and I don't have it.
I'm sorry, I can do it real quick.
Did they
please?
give you a form to fill out?
I can't remember. I've been in a lot of pain.
Okay, let me just take some testimony from you. Do you work?
Yes, ma'am.
Where do you work?
At Smoky Bones.
Okay, and then do you get paid weekly, bi-weekly, or
every
month?
2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks?
Yes, ma'am.
How much do you get paid after taxes every 2 weeks?
I'm gonna say roughly, probably closer to 500.
Okay, and do you have any children under the age of
Yeah.
18?
I got one son, 6
Okay,
years old.
I think you qualify. You do qualify. I'm gonna appoint them based on your testimony. We'll just put that in the court minutes, because you didn't fill out a form. So, all right, Mr. Roberts. I am gonna order that you're not to have any contact with any listed victim or witness in the case. You're not to possess weapons or firearms or ammunition. And, I think some of the victims or one of the victims is your roommate, so, I'm gonna order that you maintain separate residences. And
Yes, ma'am.
your bond's gonna be set on count 1 at $5,000, count 2 at $1,000, and count 3 at $1,000.
Your Honor, Mr. Sheffield is mental health.
Okay,
Thank you. No, man, I just took it off.
reset Mr. Sheffield. All right, please tell me your name.
Valerie Renee Atkins.
Okay, do we know what happened to Anderson?
Kristen Anderson is in the hospital, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll reset within 24 hours of her release. Ms. Atkins? All right, ma'am, you're here in 2019 CF 9234AO. You're arrested for possession of cocaine. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. And I'm gonna stay the bond at $1,000. You're not to possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, please tell me your name.
Samuel Banker.
All right, Mr. Banker, you're here in 2019 CF 6795AO. Looks like this is a refile from a prior case that was null prost and then refiled or something like
Okay,
that.
I thought it was failure to appear, but it's a.
No, that, looks like the state filed an information and then either null prost it or there was a no info and then refiled it again. I think that's what happened here. So I am gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. The information has been filed, burglary of a dwelling and petty theft. And the conditions of release are on the KPS. You're not to have any contact with any victim, co-defendant, or witness. You're not to return to where the alleged burglary occurred. 1201 Meadow Finch Drive in Westwood Village. not to return back there. Other conditions on the capias are you're not to possess any weapons or firearms or consume any illegal substances, alcohol, or controlled substances without a valid prescription. And the bonds will remain set as in the capias at 10,000 on count 1 and 150 on count 2. I'm not gonna take action on the out on bond, obviously, because the offense occurred subsequent to, I believe.
And he did indicate the affidavit of arrest does indicate
Prior to.
it was a failure FTA, so I don't know.
I
Yeah. But I think it's probably relevant
I-
for,
I don't think it was a failure to appear.
No, it's a refile.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
a
no
refile.
vote
Yeah.
in error. And so,
Right,
yeah.
it was a refile, okay? So I'm not gonna take action on the ROR that he's out on, because the offense occurred before, okay? Nobody's listening to me, but okay.
No, this is my first time. I didn't know. That's my fault.
All right, please tell me your name.
Yeah, my name is Christopher Brockington.
All right, Mr. Brockington, you're here in 2019 CF 9227AO. You're arrested for theft by an employee. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You're not to go back to any universal property. You were trespassed. You're to abide by those trespass warnings. You're not to have any contact with any listed victim or witness in the case. I'm gonna reduce the bond here to 2,500.
Your Honor, it is his first offense, and given his age, young, 19, would he be willing to reduce the bond to $500, which is a standard bond on the bond schedule for a petty theft?
Theft by an employee.
Death by employee, though.
Yeah, it's a little different, so I am reducing the bond by
Okay.
half. I wanted to see if, apparently, I mean, I put him in pretrial release, but I don't know, it's saying that he's transient and, he's at a different hotel every day, so I don't know if they can qualify him. I can do bond or PTR if he can get qualified. Do you have any employment at all whatsoever at this point?
Any appointments?
Yeah, no,
Oh, am I? Wait, no, ma'am.
no, okay, all right,
Oh, I take that back. Staff zone. I'm at staff zone at the moment.
okay,
That's about it. Not universal. So.
okay. Would you think you'd be able to make the $2,500 bond, or no? Yeah?
If possible, the 10% that they was talking about or something like that. If possible, I could possibly pay it today. The 250 that's
Okay,
supposed to be.
all right, well, if you can't make it, then y'all can file a motion, okay?
All right. Thank you. Good luck. All right. Well, y'all have a nice day.
All right, please tell me your name.
Roberto Casilla.
All right, Mr. Casilla, you're here in 2019 CF 8747. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant which probable cause was found for burglary of a structure, grand theft third degree, and 2 counts of violation of the Florida Pawnbroker Act. I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I am gonna stay the bonds in the warrant at 3,500 on count 1, 500 on count 2, and counts 3 and 4 at 1,000. You're not to return back. to 3710 McGuire Boulevard, the Audubon Apartments, or you're not to return to Atkins Electric. Additionally, you're not to go back to Florida Pawn and Gun at 9318 East Colonial Drive. You're not to have any contact with any listed victim or witness in the affidavit for an arrest warrant. Please tell me your name.
Gina Davis.
Paul Clark.
He's behavior, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll reset Mr. Clark. All right, Ms. Davis. You're here in 2019 CF 9210AO. You're arrested for burglary of an occupied dwelling and criminal mischief over $1,000. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You're not to return back to 8226 Willow Wood Street. You've been trespassed from there. You're to abide by all trespass warnings. You're not to have any contact with any victim or witness in the case. Your bond will remain set at 5,000 on count 1 and 100 on count 2. And I'm gonna add no weapons or firearms or ammunition. All right, please tell me your name.
Danielle Freeman.
All right, ma'am, can you please, I'm sorry. All right, looks like you're here in 2019 CF 6011AO. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for a violation of pretrial release. The judge in that case set your bond at none. Does she have the public defender? Okay, you do have the public defender, so they can file any appropriate motions for you. Okay. All right, please tell me your name. Oh, sorry. It's already been a long morning, so, for me at least. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Anthony Goins,
All
ma'am.
right, Mr. Goyens, you're here in 2019 CF 9205AO. You're arrested for petty theft with 2 prior convictions.
Yes, ma'am.
I do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You're not to go back to Walmart at 3101 West Princeton Street in Orlando. You're not to have any contact with any listed victim or witness in the case, and your bond will remain set at $1,000.
Heath?
All right, you're here in 2019, CF 9206AO. You're arrested for burglary of an occupied dwelling and petty theft. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You're not to return back to 3000 Clarkona Road, lot number 116 or 216?
116.
Okay, 116, don't talk about anything that you don't want to be used against you, okay? So, you're not to go back there, you're not to have any contact with the victim or any witness in the case. Your bond's gonna be set at 3,500, I'm gonna reduce that, and count two is at 100. All right, please tell me your name.
Michael Hendricks.
All right, Mr. Hendricks, you're here in 2019 CF 9222AO. You were arrested for burglary of a conveyance, possession of methamphetamine, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You're not to return back to 6513 Redwood Oak Drive. You're not to have any contact with the victim in the case or any witness. You're not to possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription. The bonds will stay 3,500 on count one and 150 on count two and 100 on count three. All right, please tell me your name.
Christopher Hughes.
You know, Holloman.
East Mental Health, Your Honor.
All right,
Christopher Lamont Carlton Hughes.
I'll reset Mr. Holloman. All right, Mr. Hughes, you're here in 2019 CF 9252. You're arrested for a counterfeit, possessing a counterfeit license plate or a sticker on your motor vehicle and no motor vehicle registration. Do you find probable cause? I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office. I'm gonna put you in the pretrial release program for both counts. So you need to make sure that you follow all of their requirements, okay?
Yes, miss.
Because if you don't, then they can tell me or another judge and they can revoke your release, okay?
Yes, miss.
All
Thank you.
right? Okay, please tell me your name.
Melvin Hutchins.
Hi, Mr. Hutchins. This is 2019 CF 9254, and you were arrested for burglary of an unoccupied dwelling and grand theft. I do find probable cause, and I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You're not to return back to 2801 Donaldson Drive in Orlando, Florida. You're not to have any contact with any listed victim or witness in the case. And your bonds will, are there bonds? So $5,000 on count one, and I'm gonna set count two at 150.
You said how much on count one, Your Honor?
5,000. All right, please tell me your name.
Jartavius Ingram.
All right, Mr. Ingram, you're here in 2019 CF 9150. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant which probable cause was found for robbery with a firearm and aggravated assault with a firearm. I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. State, did you want to be heard as to bond as to count one?
Yes, Your Honor, this is a PVL. When you look at the four corners of the affidavit written by Deputy Forrest Best, it looks like the victim came home after making a bank run to individuals sitting in his living room. One of the individuals he knew as Jimmy Butler, they locked the bedroom behind him. Jimmy pointed a semi-automatic black handgun at the defendant, had him open up his safe, took out, had the victim remove his debit cards, cash, social security information, birth certificate, other items, as well as taking up an iPhone and a tablet. They were able to leave, I believe, in a Lincoln vehicle. There's another roommate, it looks like, corroborate the story of these three individuals being in the home. They were able to do a photo lineup later on where the victim picked out this defendant, Jartavius Ingram, as Jimmy Butler, as the person he knew as Jimmy Butler that committed the robbery. This time, we believe the defendant should be held at no bond.
All right, Mr. Lynn, any argument or?
No, Your Honor, we leave it within discretion of the court.
Okay. I do find the proof evident presumption great based on what's in the affidavit and the state's arguments. And I am gonna hold him at no bond on count one. Count two is gonna be $5,000 bond. No weapons or firearms or ammunition. You're not to return back to 2211 Fleetwood Court. You're not to have any contact with any victim, witness, or any co-defendant in the case. See, was there any other condition?
No, Your Honor.
All right, please tell me your name.
Michael Lewis.
Mr. Lewis, you're here in 2018 CF 9235AO. You're arrested pursuant to a KPS for failing to appear for a status hearing on May 10th, 2019. The judge set your bond on each count at none. And does he have?
Yes.
And you do have the public defender, okay? They can file any appropriate motions for you. Please tell me your name.
Tyrone Lloyd.
All right, Mr. Lloyd, you're here. It's like 3 cases. 2019 CF 7377. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant which probable cause was previously found. For attempted first-degree murder with a firearm, shooting or throwing a deadly missile into a dwelling, structure, or vehicle, in possession of a weapon by a convicted felon. Did you fill out a form for the public defender? Were you planning on hiring your own attorney? I don't have a form that you filled out.
No, I didn't get a chance to fill it out, the public defender form.
Okay. Do you want to see if you qualify? You didn't get a chance, or you did not fill one out?
I didn't fill one out. I was gonna see how much a lawyer cost, but then I was thinking I should have just got a public defender to represent me now.
Do you work? Do you work?
No,
You don't work?
no.
Do you have any income whatsoever?
I was starting my social security back, my SSI,
Okay, how much do you get?
like 700.
A month?
Yeah,
Okay. And you have any children?
yeah.
How many?
2,
Under the age of 18?
yes.
All right, I'm gonna appoint appoint the PD to represent you in all your cases. All right, state, do you want to be heard as to bond on count one? I believe it's a PBL.
Yes, Your Honor, the attempted, still makes the PBL, first degree murder. Looking at the four corners of the affidavit by Jefferson Wirtz, it looks like this defendant got in an argument. He pulled up next to the vehicle where his ex and another person were in, demanded, it was ex that they had been broken up, it looks like since 2016, demanding his cell phone back. He got out of the vehicle, he went to the back of the vehicle, he fired two shots into the vehicle, one hitting the trunk lid, one hitting the center of the trunk, excuse me. It looks like based on the affidavit, neither victim was injured. The victim was able to identify him based on it being an ex and somebody they'd seen multiple times previously. Based on that, we believe the defendant should be held at no bond.
Okay. I mean, this is a pretty thin affidavit, and there's no, they didn't even go to the scene to get any shell casings, any bullets, there's no statements, other than just the victims making a statement, so I don't find proof evident presumption great based on the affidavit, which is basically a page and a half. Sorry, Mr. Wynn, did you have any, I didn't come to you
No,
for any
Your
argument?
Honor, we'll leave it in the discretion of the court.
Okay, I apologize for that. I am gonna set the bond at $250,000 on count one. Counts 2 and 3 will remain set at the $5,000. No weapons, no firearms, no ammunition, no contact with any victim or witness or co-defendant in the case. You're also here in 2015 CF 9033AO. You arrest, it's a on-view violation of probation based on that new law arrest. There's probable cause. Your bond is set at none. The PD was appointed, as I said previously. You should be seen by Judge Whitehead on that case in a week to 10 days, could be sooner. And you have an on-view VOP out of Osceola, 2017 CF 431, again, based on the new law arrest. And your bond is set at none in that case, and I did appoint, I can appoint the public defender for the Osceola, correct? No, I can't? Okay, all right. I don't know, I don't know if Judge Whitehead has authority to hear that or at all, but, because he's a circuit judge in Osceola and Orange, so I'm not sure if you'll get set in front of him for that case within a week to 10 days, okay? Which is weird, because we do the Osceola IAs on the weekends. No, I can't? Oh, okay, I don't know. Right, it doesn't, and it's the same circuit, so I don't. All right, please tell me your name.
Christopher Margrave.
All right, Mr. Margrave, you're here in 2019 CF 9230AO. You're arrested for possession of heroin, possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. You're not to possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription. Do we know what's going on with these cases that he's out on bond? They're pretty old. I'm just gonna look them up real quick. I don't know anything about them. Except for trial.
On 2018 CF 10542, that case has a pretrial conference on July the 2nd. Looks like it was continued after a plea hearing June 24th. I guess it was in drug court, then it was kicked out of drug court, or the defendant opted out of drug court in April of this year.
bonds in 2018 CF 10541AO and 2018 CF 10542AO and set them at no bond. You do have an attorney, you do have attorneys in both of those cases.
Yeah.
Is there a paperwork for me to sign in here, or is it just? Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. Look really good. All right, please tell me your name.
Devontae McCray.
All right, Mr. McCray, you're here in 2019 CF 9236AO. You're arrested for sale of cocaine, sale or delivery of cocaine. I do find probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender. You're not to possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription, and you're not to have any contact with the witness in the case. And your bond is going to stay at the $15,000. Okay, please tell me your name.
Marguerite Minicello.
All right, oh, Mr. McGee.
He's mental health, Your Honor.
All right, we'll reset Mr. McGee. All your PC challenges are going away.
All gone.
All right. Ma'am, you're here in 2019 CF 3743AO, and you're arrested pursuant to a KPS for failing to appear for your pretrial conference on June 19, 2019. The judge did set bonds on count 1 at $1,500 and count 2 at $100. Does she have the PD? Did you have the public defender, you know,
I do have one, but
on the case? Okay, I just want to make sure that you have an attorney.
I actually turned
Yeah.
myself in, Your Honor. I
Right.
wasn't arrested.
Well, they have to, it's a physical arrest.
Oh, okay,
So it
yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean that they picked you up somewhere else. I mean, they have to arrest you on the KPS.
Right.
It's a physical thing.
Right.
Procedurally. So, but you do have bonds and you are represented, okay?
Okay.
Please tell me your name.
Ernest Petway.
All right, Mr. Petway, you're here in 2019 CF 2318AO. You're arrested pursuant to a KPS for failing to appear for pretrial on June 18, 2019. The judge revoked your release and set your bond at none on each count. And you're here in 2019 CF 8884. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was found for possession of cannabis more than 20 grams and possession of tetrahydrocannabinols. And I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Does he have the PD on the, so you do have the PD on the failure to appear case. And you're not to possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription. And based on your out on bond cases and the significant amount of marijuana found in this case, I am gonna revoke the bond in 2019 CF 903AO and set that at none on each count.
Did you said bonds in the, on the 19 CF 8884?
I apologize. I think they're set in the warrant, so let me just see. I'm gonna stay the bonds in the warrant, that's fine. $500 on each count, okay? Please tell me, oh, sorry. All right, please tell me your name.
It's Kidgerell.
Well, you're here in 2019 CF 9218AO. You're arrested for fleeing, attempting to elude a law enforcement officer, and resisting an officer without violence. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Your bond on count one will be $7,500. Count two, I'm gonna stay at the 500. In 2019 CF 9217AO, you're arrested for driving while license revoked as a habitual offender. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the PD in that case as well. Your bond will remain set at the 2,500. You're not to drive without a valid license.
Your Honor, we would request that the driving without a license, while license revoked, be treated as a subsidiary to the fleeing and attempting to elude.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. Sorry. Oh, yeah, and there is an out on bond case, 2019 CF 6300AO. I am revoking that and setting it at none. All right, please tell me your name.
Anthony Scrivens.
All right, Mr. Scrivens, you're here in 2019 CF 1794AO. You're arrested pursuant to a capias for failing to appear for your pretrial on June 18th, 2019. The judge revoked your release and set your bond at none on each count. And do you have the PD? Maybe on the form, I don't know. No, it's not. Okay. Yes, you do have the public defender, and they can file any appropriate motions for you. All right, please tell me your name. Sorry, I am like out of it today.
Oh.
I did not sleep well at all, so.
It's just an autopilot.
I'm on neutral, yeah.
I'm gonna pass by Mrs. Shakes here for a moment.
Okay. Thank you. Whew. All right, are you Mr. Sorrell?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, Mr. Sorrell, you're here in 2019 CF 7447AO, and You were arrested pursuant to a warrant which probable cause was found for burglary of a conveyance, attempted burglary of a conveyance. I'm gonna go by what's in the warrant and not on the affidavit on the front. Okay, so it's count 1, burglary of a conveyance, counts 2 and 3, attempted burglary of a conveyance, counts 4, 5, and 6, criminal mischief, over 200, under 1,000. And I am gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Your bonds will remain set in the warrant. $3,500 on count 1, 1,000 on counts 2 and 3, and 500 on counts 4, 5, and 6. You're not to return back to the Aqua at Millennial Apartment Complex, anywhere on that property at 5451 Millennial Lakes Boulevard. You're not to have any contact with any listed victim or witness in the case.
This is Mr. Shazier, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Shazier. You're here in 2019 CF 9235AO for possession of MDMA ecstasy and possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. All right, you're not to possess any illegal substances without a valid prescription. Your bond's gonna be set at 1,000 on count 1, 100 on count 2. You were ROR'd at IA's in 2019 CF 7312. I'm gonna revoke that, but I'm gonna set the bond at $3,500. Please tell me your name.
Philip Walsh.
And what happened to Taylor? Taylor?
Bondage, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Welch?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're here in 2019 CF 9213AO. You're arrested for possession of cannabis more than 20 grams and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause. And you did not fill out a form for the public defender. Were you planning on hiring your own attorney?
Yes, I have my own attorney.
Okay, have you spoken with your attorney since your arrest?
My girlfriend spoke to him last night.
Okay. Do you know who it is?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Can you tell me?
Oh, it's Mike Bandana.
Okay. And I don't know if they filed a notice of appearance or if it would
Okay.
even be in the system yet. Were they planning on attending initial appearance, do you know?
Well, she spoke to him last night, and relayed the message, and he was supposed to get in contact back to us. It's just I haven't got to a phone yet.
All right, so I don't see anything in the system yet. So what I'm gonna do is, in this case, in the 9213 case, your bond will stay set at $1,000 on count one, $100 on count two, and then looks like you have a violation of probation on view out of St. Lucie County. Your filings, you're on probation in St. Lucie County.
ma'am.
And based on this new law arrest, so your bond will be, set at none in that case. So I don't know if you're hiring that attorney. Do you want me, I can set you for a determination of counsel hearing? If you're not gonna hire, I don't
No,
know.
I'm gonna have my attorney.
Okay. Are you gonna hire them in the St. Lucie case too? Cause you're gonna be held here.
It's gonna be the same attorney that I had in St. Lucie.
Okay, all right. Okay. So your bond is set at none in the on-view VOP. I'm just gonna set him for a determination of counsel on the Orange County case in a week. If you've bonded out, then it's not gonna be, if you've been able to get an attorney by then. I don't want you sitting in there, no bond, because you don't have a bond in the VOP, right?
Yes,
So even though you have a bond in the Orange County case, I just wanna make sure that you have an attorney,
Yes,
okay? All right?
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll set him for a DOC in a week. And that way, that'll give you some time to talk to that attorney and see if that's what you're gonna do.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you
Okay?
so much.
All right. All right, please tell me your name.
William White.
All right, Mr. White, you're here in 2019 CF 8733. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant which probable cause was found for robbery and conspiracy to commit robbery. And I'm gonna appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim or witness or any co-defendant in the case. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms or ammunition. And I am gonna stay the bond at $3,500 on count one and $1,000 on count two. All right, please tell me your name.
Bryce Wilder.
All right, Mr. Wilder, you're here in 2019 CF 8729AO. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant which probable cause was found for robbery and conspiracy to commit robbery. I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You're not to have any contact with any listed victim, witness, or co-defendant in the case. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms or ammunition. And my guess is you're in the pretrial diversion program for the case that you're out on. My guess is you're gonna get rejected from that program based on the new law offense, but I'm not gonna take any action on that, out on that PTD case, okay?
Okay, thank you.
But if you violate any of the conditions of your release on the felony case, and I see you again, then I'm gonna revoke the release in both, okay?
I understand.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
I would ask Mr. Nguyen, and then if you need to ask me something, then you can, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't want you to say anything that you might later regret.
Yes, ma'am.
500 and 1,000 on count two. And I didn't take any action on the PTD case. All right, please tell me your name.
Magali Jimenez.
All right, you're here, you're picked up on a out-of-county warrant out of Brevard County. And looks like your bond is set at none. And so Broward County has 72 hours, according to our admin order, to come and pick you up, okay?
Okay,
And that does not include the weekends,
okay,
okay?
thank you.
All right.
All right, thank you.
All right, please tell me your name.
Jonas Jesus Pierre.
Do we know what happened to Moreno?
Sonny Moreno, Bonding Drive.
Okay, take no action. Mr. Pierre, is that what you
Yes,
said?
ma'am.
Okay. All right, Mr. Pierre, you were picked up on an out-of-county warrant out of Lake County. Looks like $250,000 bond. So if you can bond out, you can bond out. If not, Lake County has 24 hours to come and pick you up pursuant to our admin order, okay? Right? That does not include the weekend, so I don't know if that includes tomorrow. Anyone tell me? Oh, okay, and then you do have a surrender passport hold. He's not listening to me. Mr. Nguyen, will you let him know he has a surrender passport hold as well? Does that include, okay, so tomorrow, okay, yeah, so it does not include the weekend. All right, please tell me your name.
Ben Henry Riddle.
All right, Mr. Riddle, you're picked up on an out-of-county warrant, or no, this is,
He was transferred from out of county, I believe, Your
Huh?
Honor.
oh, okay, it says out-of-county, so and it was with all the warrants, so. Yeah, so hold on one sec. This is domestic, I mean, it's a domestic violence case.
I don't have any information on that.
It is domestic violence, okay. So it looks like this is an over-the-county line arrest. Does his bond stay at none until Seminole comes and pick him up, or? I haven't had this issue come up, no, but I haven't had this issue come up before. Ms. Kenny Swanson, how does this work in the past with the over-the-county line DV arrest? It's a Seminole County case.
I've known to be treated the same as any other county. They have 24 hours to pick them up.
With no bond?
Correct.
Okay, all right, so Seminole County has 24 hours to come and pick you up for the domestic violence battery charge that you were arrested on. And that does not include the weekend.
Your Honor, we have a note where we contacted the victim and she's supposed to be present this afternoon.
Okay, well, we'll then send it over to courtroom two, and then Judge Carter can figure out if she wants to handle the case if the victim's present. It's okay, it's okay. I haven't had this situation happen before, so, this one's a new one for me. So we're just gonna set you for the afternoon over in courtroom 2, and you'll be in front of Judge Carter, okay? All right, Mr. Riddle? Okay. Do you want me to bring it to? Yeah. Okay, I'll just bring it to her so she can read it. All right, please tell me your name.
Hakeem Jones.
Okay, do we know what happened to Andrews Rivera?
Downtown Court, Your Honor.
He's had downtown court a lot. This is stuff my J printed. All right, so we will reset Mr. Andrews Rivera. All right, and what did you say your name was again?
Hakeem Jones.
Okay, Mr. Dozier.
Medical, Your Honor.
All right, we'll reset Mr. Dozier. And Mr. Horn.
Is also medical.
Okay. Reset Mr. Horn. All right, Mr. Jones. All right, you're here in 2019 CF 9131AO. You're arrested for grand theft third degree pursuant to a warrant. And probable cause has been found. I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You're not to return back to the Orange County Public Library at 4600 South Orange Blossom Trail. You're not to have any contact with any listed victim or witness in the case, and your bond will remain set on the warrant at $1,000.
Your Honor, may the defendant be provided a copy of the warrant? He doesn't have one, and
I don't know if we can print one out for him.
I believe your office can print one out. If you're appointed, you guys can print one out.
okay, well, I don't have access to a printer right now, so. I don't have access to a printer right now, so. it's
Your
fine.
office doesn't give you a printer? And
No,
then-
I mean right now, right physically in this moment. I didn't know if you could get
Here
one.
to the dock, the printer's not working. I did take a request. So the printer now works in here.
Okay.
So if he wants to step outside, and then maybe, we only have one more person, and then we have some motion, so. All right, please tell me your name.
Chelsea Reese.
All right, Ms. Reese, you're here in 2018 CF 9817AO. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant, or excuse me, a KPS for failing to appear for your pretrial conference on February 19th, 2019. And the judge revoked your release, set your bond at none in that case. Does she have the PD? Okay, you do have the public defender. They can file any appropriate motions for you, okay?
So I don't get a bond?
You don't, I can't change the KPS, okay? I'm not
Okay.
permitted to by law, so your attorneys will have to file a motion in front of the judge in that case,
Okay.
and they can decide whether or not they're gonna give you a bond, okay?
Can I say one?
Don't talk to me about, I can't, there's nothing that I can do, so anything that you say may
Okay.
not help you, or it could hurt you,
Okay.
okay?
Your Honor,
You can
I
talk to
know-
Mr. Nguyen
I know
about
what
it.
she's gonna say, and I'll go ahead and I'll address with the court, and you might have the discretion, but I believe, and what has been indicated to me is that the state filed a notice of non-filing in the case prior to filing. They filed a notice of non-filing, at which point the defendant moved out of state, and she never received notice that the case was refiled.
Well, there's
and-
a notice of non-filing and then a no information notice. So a notice of non-filing doesn't
Okay,
mean that
so-
the state is not filing.
Okay,
That's what's
so-
usually filed if, at the 33-day point.
Right, okay,
So like they're awaiting something or they haven't made a charging decision yet.
right, so they.
So that's very different than a no information notice or an,
Right, so you're saying that a notice of non-filing indicates that they could still file in the future?
yeah, and she's,
Okay, so,
you know, I
again,
mean, and
so-
if she moved, then she should be keeping in touch with,
Okay, well,
The attorneys.
whatever the event, I think there was some confusion with regards to that notice. She subsequently moved out of state, moved back, thought they weren't gonna file on the case. They ended up filing, and when she returned back, she was picked up on the FTA.
I didn't move back here. I don't live here.
so
I
you-
live in New Mexico.
you
They
live-
extradited me back here.
So I guess they extradited her from New
I
Mexico.
don't live here anymore.
so it looks like Judge Barber on January 24th, looks like the PD filed a written plea of not guilty and a waiver of arraignment. And then there was an order setting pretrial conference on that date. So, I mean, she's responsible for keeping in touch with the attorneys and so that they know how to get in touch with her and advise her to come to court. There's nothing I can do about the capias today, so you can file a motion for bond and then put all of that in there and maybe Judge Barber will give her a bond based on all of that.
Yeah, well, I'll let them know.
State's ready on 33-day motions.
So we do have a bond motion,
I believe the jail did not receive the add-on docket, so for both cases, Ms. LaPonte and Mr. Antone will be reset till Monday.
Mr. Antone is a determination of counsel, okay.
Correct, but because they didn't receive the docket, they couldn't
Okay.
order the inmates.
So I guess we will reset Mr. What's the reason? Nobody received notice?
The add-on docket, yes, so the jail doesn't get the add-on docket, they can't order the inmates.
Who does that come from?
For Jay.
My JA?
Yeah, yes. It's a technical difficulty they're working on.
I'm sorry, you're all talking at once and I can only hear one person at a time, so.
We scheduled for the inmates to come to court, and we didn't receive that email.
Okay. So when does that usually go out?
We have set up it now where if I don't receive it by 3, I will call the next time.
So,
They spoke about it this morning prior to court, Your Honor.
okay, so you did talk to her
Today, yeah.
that you didn't receive it?
This printer's not working.
Okay. All right, well, I apologize for that. So Mr. Anton will be reset, and then also Ms. LaPointe in 2019 MM 5024AO will be reset as well. Want me to keep that, or-
Yeah. Printer's not working. The warning. Yeah, no, the actual warning. And that was in case number,
Okay, these are the either the private or conflict, so I'm gonna go through those first, Mr. Nguyen. 2019 CF 7510 AO Anthony DeAndre Ricks.
On both of Mr. Rick's cases, they should be granted a state filed a notice of non-filing before the 33rd day.
The arrest warrant. The affidavit for the warrant. She can't.
Right, those will both be granted. The other
I don't-
one
this
was
print is not working.
2019 CF 7511. Those will both be granted. (2019) CF 7365 Maggie Estelle Keen.
That should be granted. The state has not made a charging decision.
That will be granted.
I can't get it down.
2019 CF 7479 AO Renisha Nicole Stallworth.
That should be granted. The state filed a notice of non-filing before the 33rd day.
That will be granted. Okay, we'll wait for the PDs. Okay, so. Hold on one second. All right, so 2019 CF 7608 AO Willie Lee Kendrick. I see information was filed.
That should be denied. The state filed information, 627.
That will be denied. (2019) CF 7470 AO Daquan Marquis Smith.
That should be granted. The state filed a notice of non-filing before the 33rd day.
That will be granted. 2019 CF 7567 AO Amethyst Feck.
That should be denied. The state filed information on 627.
That will be denied. 2019 CF 7648 AO Carl Wesley Caudill. I'm showing the 33rd, I don't know what happened, but the 33rd day isn't until tomorrow,
That's fine. The state filed an information and requested transfer of felony to misdemeanor.
so that will be denied. (2019) CF 7494 AO James Eugene Brown.
That
Looks
should
like
be the 33rd day is not
till the
30th.
30th.
Correct.
So I'm gonna strike this, not deny it, but strike it.
Okay. They can refile it, just have to reset it for hearing on Monday.
(2019) CF 7708 AO Brandon Dallas Montgomery, same thing. 33rd day is not until June 30th.
It's fine. The state filed an information
Okay,
and requested transfer from felony to misdemeanor.
so that will be denied. (2019) CF 1447 AO A.B. Moses Harrio. Looks like his bond was revoked on 5/25/2019.
We filed a notice of non-filing before the 33rd day on that case. I don't know how many days he's been in custody.
His bond was revoked,
Correct, Your Honor.
so I'm gonna deny that.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, anything else?
Were we gonna do the 38D? I have a list of 30-day motions here. Did you guys went over these?
The motions, that was the last thing we just went over.
Yeah, I didn't have any of those names on this list, so maybe,
I did everything.
okay. Well, maybe it has to do with my office and I'll bring it up.
Sorry?
Yeah.
All right, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we recess until this afternoon. All right, we are back on the record, June 28, 2019. This is Judge Wish, Courtroom 1, Session 2. Can I please have the parties announce themselves for the record?
Coffee Kennedy Swanson on behalf of the Office of the State Attorney.
Brian Wynn on behalf of the Office of Public Defender.
And then Fleming and Forbes both bonded?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Also Henderson and Keys.
Okay, Henderson, okay. Bonded. And Keys bonded. All right, are you Mr. Marks?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Mr. Marks, you're here in 2019, CF 9251AO. You're arrested for burglary of a conveyance, grand theft, third degree of a motor vehicle. I do find probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Your bond will remain set at $3,500 on count 1, $150 on count 2. You're not to have any contact with any victim, witness, or co-defendant. You're not to return back to 1359 West Point Villas Boulevard. And you're out on bond 2019 CF 8340AO, or excuse me, ROR. I'm revoking that release and setting it at none. All right, please tell me your name.
Ross Musette.
Milozos. Suzuki? Okay. There's no way I was getting that one. All right, he will be reset. It's gonna be a lot of resets tomorrow. Okay, did you say Morrison?
Moosehead.
Musette, and,
Morrison Bond.
okay, Morrison bonded. Musette, okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Musette, you're here in 2019, CF 9247AO. You're arrested for possession of methamphetamine. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. And you're not to possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription. Your bond will remain set at $1,000. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Hector Ortiz.
All right, Mr. Ortiz, you're here in 2019 CF 9241. You were arrested for possession of cocaine and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You're not to possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription. Your bonds will remain set at 1,000 on count 1 and 100 on count 2.
That's
Looks
why
like you do have a hold for Seminole County, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right, please tell me your name.
Jose Rodriguez, ma'am.
Mr. Rodriguez, you're here in 2019 CF 9245AO, and you were arrested for fleeing and eluding a law enforcement officer with lights and sirens activated and driving while license suspended with 2 prior convictions. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the public defender. You're not to drive without a valid license. Your bond on count 1 is $7,500, and count 2, I'm gonna stay that at the $2,500. Please tell me your name.
Amanda Smith.
All right, Ms. Smith, you're here in 19 CF 9248AO. You're arrested for possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the public defender. You're not to possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription. You're not to return back to the 9956 Hawaiian Court room, or that hotel, I guess, whatever that specific hotel is, or motel. Looks like you've been trespassed from the property there, so you're to abide by any trespass warnings. Your bond will stay set at 1,000 on count 1 and 100 on counts 2 and 3. All right, please tell me your name.
Brandon Vincent.
Mr. Vincent, you're here in 2019 CF 9249AO. You're arrested for possession of cocaine. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the public defender. You're not to possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription. Your bond will stay set at 1,000.
How much?
1,000?
No problem.
Sorry?
No problem. Okay.
I don't know if you saw on the next one, the cases all say that the defendant is to be brought before Judge Cass within the next business day. So I don't know if we need, y'all need to contact the JA to have them put on the docket, or if they, I don't know if they get notified if the defendant gets arrested, I don't know.
But they, I think that's for the taking of those changes.
Yeah,
Judge, can we pass by Mr. Wilson?
sure, okay, that would be Mr. Wilson. Okay. And I mean, I'll have my JA contact them too, but sometimes the clerks do that for us, but I don't know. 'Cause it's on the KPS. Yeah, which is issued by the clerk. Is this Mr. Daniels?
How you doing?
Hi. All right, Mr. Daniels, you're here in 2019 MM 4203AO, and you were arrested pursuant to a KPS for failing to appear for pretrial conference on June 24, 2019. And the judge set your bonds on each count, looks like count 1 at 5,000 and each additional count, 2, 3, and 4 at 200. I don't know if the state has an offer,
We
because
do
they
not.
are misdemeanors. Nope, okay. So you do have bonds, and is he represented by the?
Yes.
And you do have the public defender, okay? So if you can't meet your bonds, then they have to file motions for bond, but there's nothing that I can do about the KPS, okay? That's,
Can,
it
can
is.
no, I didn't even know I had a court date. I went on.
I
listen,
hear it all the time, but there's
But I went
nothing,
on, even right now, today, I went on.
there's nothing that I can do about the KPS.
My son gonna be doing.
Your attorneys are gonna have to file a motion, okay?
I can't even get lowered, nothing.
There's nothing that permits me by law to change the KPS. So we do give them new pretrial holidays? Oh, okay. No, they're all misdemeanors. Okay, it's just for the misdemeanors. So we did give the dates. I don't know, Mr. Nguyen, if you want to write them down.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so,
It's pre-trial, it's in Division 83.
Okay.
Pre-trial 7:15 at 8 o'clock, and trial period is 7:23 to August 2nd. You'll get
okay. Yeah, you'll get the paperwork, but he has court dates, but y'all have to file a motion if
Right,
he can't
well-
meet the bond. Okay? All right. Are you Mr. Hassan?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Hassan, you're here in 2019 MO 418AO, and you were arrested pursuant to a KPS for failing to appear for your arraignment on April 10th, 2019, and the judge revoked your release but set your bonds at $500 on each count. I don't know if the state has an offer to resolve your case.
The city did convey an offer
Okay.
of withhold of adjudication, credit for time served, $223 court cost, and a $10 filing fee.
And Your Honor, Mr. Hassan will enter a plea of no contest.
Okay, do we know what the credit for time served is total? 3, okay. Thank you. And he had the PD?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So, Mr. Hassan, I'm showing you this plea form. Is this your signature at the bottom?
Yeah.
Did you understand everything that's contained within the plea form?
Yeah.
Do you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yeah.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No.
Do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
I-
sis.
Okay. I do find a factual basis based on what's in the court file to accept your plea. I'm gonna withhold adjudication on both counts. And I'm gonna sentence you to 3 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 3 days time served. Those will run concurrent. There's court costs in the amount of $223 and a $10 filing fee that I have to impose. And I'm gonna order that you pay those by June 28th, 2020. That gives you a year to pay them off, okay? If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. All right? Good luck to you. All right, please tell me your name.
David McLean.
All right, Mr. McLean, you're here in 2019 MM 5274. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for stalking, which probable cause has already been found, and you did not fill out a form for the public defender. Were you planning on hiring your own attorney?
Your Honor, yes, I already have my own private attorney,
Oh, okay, who is that?
Neil McShane.
Okay, and you've spoken to him since your arrest?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so, all right, I don't know if he's filed a notice of appearance yet. He has not, so you may want to contact him. So at this time, the conditions of release are gonna be that you're not to go to 5172 Millennia Boulevard, any of the apartments, but specifically apartment 203. You're not to have any contact with the victim directly or indirectly. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms or ammunition. Your bond is gonna be $2,500 plus pretrial release.
He's on probation. We can't do the pretrial release, so we should serve.
But I can do bond plus pretrial.
Okay, he's gonna be going to court tomorrow for the BOP.
Okay.
It wasn't on the base sheet.
Okay, I know he's not, doesn't qualify, but I can do bond plus PTR, so it'll be bond plus pretrial release.
Oh, no, he's not. Never mind.
All right, please tell me your name.
My name is Rashard Walthour.
We're gonna have Owen.
Mr. Owen Bond is running.
Okay, we'll take no action on Owen.
Calderon also bonded.
Okay.
Ortiz Lopez bonded. Rosario Coulon bonded. And this is Mr. Walthour.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Walther, you're here in 2019 MM 5390AO, and you were arrested for resisting an officer without violence. I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office, and I believe, Mr. Nguyen, you had a probable cause challenge.
Yes, Your Honor. May I approach with case law?
Sure. Oh, okay, oh, I see. They're just-
Would you like time to review prior?
Well, I just wanna know what your argument is
Okay,
for, so I
right,
kinda know
okay,
what
so
I'm
I will go ahead
looking
and, Your Honor, the defendant was inside his home at the time of the arrest. The officers indicate that he was fleeing a stop for riding a bicycle, with no lights. Based on, the cases I presented, it's Connor, v. State of Florida, which, this is a fourth, district, Florida Court of Appeals case. It holds that there was, that in order to enter a house, there has to be a serious enough offense to warrant the entry. And in that case, the offense of battery did not constitute a serious enough offense to uphold the warrantless entry. So with regards to a battery, I mean, that's a much more serious offense than riding a bicycle without a light. Additionally, that case holds that a court approval for warrantless home entries to arrest for minor offenses should be rare. Let me see here. And then in addition, the Fifth District Court of Appeals case, which was MJR v. State of Florida. An important factor to be considered when determining whether an exigency exists, so if there's an exigent circumstance for making a warrantless arrest, is the gravity of the underlying offense for which the arrest is being made. Application of the exigent circumstances exception in the context of a home entry should rarely be sanctioned when there's no probable cause to believe that only a minor offense has been committed. And so, and if you follow down, there's another case that they cited, an underlying offense where it's only a misdemeanor. There's no authority given that a police officer to enter a suspect's home to effect a warrantless arrest for a misdemeanor. And in essence, what that case stands for is that even if an exigency does exist, even if it's a misdemeanor offense, a warrantless entry into the home constitutes an illegal, it's a violation of his Fourth Amendment right to.
Do any of these cases have to do with somebody who's fleeing?
No.
Well, Your Honor, they go to one of the cases goes to resisting an officer specifically, which is what he was charged with, and the offense of being.
Is that the Connor case? I think that's the Connor case.
Yeah,
Yes.
the Connor case. So, and when such a minor offense, that should be taken into account.
Okay, I get the argument. Let me just
Okay.
read. Let me just read. State, do you want your argument? Have you
I'll
read
let you
the
finish
cases?
reading, Your Honor.
Okay. So these are one's a fifth case in 94, one's a fourth case in 98, and you've shepherdized these cases, and there's no other cases
They-
reflecting any other.
I did not see anything.
Your Honor, I think there are two distinguishing things. To have a warrantless search, there must be a reasonable expectation of privacy. There is no way showing that that is his residence, that he lived there, that he should have a reasonable expectation. If I run into somebody else's home, that does not all of a sudden assert the right of a reasonable expectation of privacy and therefore trigger whether or not it was a warrantless search. Step one argument. Step two argument is both of those cases cited by the defense are cases that the defendant arose from the defendant's property. With the first case, I believe the occurrence happened in the garage, so in the curtilage of the property. In the second case, it was looking for some juvenile in his home. The difference was this defendant in this case was on a bicycle someplace else, got off the bicycle after law enforcement had already turned their lights and sirens on, then had been yelled and told stop the police, and then fled into a home. I think that's the difference and distinguishment in this. We would argue that there is still probable cause at this time.
And, Your Honor, just to clarify, I mean, we're not arguing that there wasn't, the argument is that that the arrest was in violation of the Fourth Amendment of the United States. So while there was maybe probable cause for the violation, the arrest itself was an illegal seizure. And with regards to...
Isn't that a motion to suppress?
Well, I think that but that makes the arrest illegal. So continuing to hold him would be a continued violation of that Fourth Amendment of that illegal seizure. And I would also point out that in the affidavit, there's nothing indicating whether or not the house belonged to him or didn't belong to him. So it would be unfair to assume one way or the other.
So the state's response would be, the question would be, if, according to the case law that presented, the officer was then to get a warrant in order to arrest him later on, would not, once the officer got the warrant, the defendant then come to IA's and be in the same position he currently is in?
I don't understand that.
Meaning, if, let's say, the officer did not go inside the house, got a warrant, probable cause affidavit for resisting an officer without violence, the defendant gets picked up on the warrant and comes back through IA's where we are here today, would be the state's argument. The defendant would still be arrested and be detained with a bond. He's not being held at no bond. The defendant has a bond in this case.
Well, I think your cases are distinguishable because the offenses occurred in the home versus outside of the home, and then him running from law enforcement and trying to, and fleeing from law enforcement?
One of those cases cites a case where the person was being, and I will tell you which one it is right now. And this would be the fifth case, MGR versus State of Florida, where you talk about a that's an exit would have prevent the runaway from fleeing. So if you go to paragraph 4, okay, and you go down there, and light most favorable to the trial court's ruling, the deputy may have probable cause to believe that was sheltering an unmarried minor runaway. Thus, an exigent circumstance could have been presented, i.e., to prevent the runaway from fleeing, which may have justified the deputy's actions in preventing the appellant from closing the door. However, a person who knowingly shelters or aids an unmarried...
That doesn't stem from a resisting of him fleeing. That's looking for a person who's missing. Or I think it's distinguishable.
Your Honor, I mean, any case that you read based on the facts can be distinguishable.
That's why there are so many cases.
What I believe, and I think the most important rule of law that warrantless home entry to arrest for a minor offense should be rare. I mean, how minor of an offense can you get than a person doesn't have a light on a bicycle and he resisted an arrest? I mean,
it's whatever the offense may be, it's still a resisting, so,
You know, it's,
I mean, you would say that about, I mean, in my career, how many resistings because of a non-bike light have we had? And then possession of cocaine and all kind of other things, and because it was a headlight or tail light on a bicycle that was not up to code.
the, when you enter the, I mean, there, you have an
don't
ex.
argue to me.
Okay,
not
you have,
you
Your
to
Honor, you
her.
have, in the house.
Let's all talk to me.
Okay. In the house, you know, I mean, it's the most constitutionally protected area there can be, and I think that stands for something. And I think by his entry into the house, at that point, based on the seriousness of the offense, that at that point they needed to obtain a warrant for his arrest. And I think that that's very apparent in
Wasn't
these.
there a statute with regards to
The-
warrantless arrest?
There is a statute, Your Honor, and they are mentioned in these cases.
Let's take a look at the statute.
The statute the statute say if there's a,
What's the statute number again?
I don't have the statute number. Right, and what I'm saying with this statute, and I think the statute says when there's an exigent circumstance, but then that's what this case goes to, the Child v. State of Florida, that when an exigent circumstance does exist.
Okay, let me stop you there.
Okay.
The first paragraph, a law enforcement officer may arrest a person without a warrant when the person has committed a felony or a misdemeanor or violated a municipal or county ordinance in the presence of the officer. An arrest for the commission of a misdemeanor or the violation of a municipal or county ordinance shall be made immediately or in fresh pursuit.
Right, and that's an exigent, once he enters a home, that's the exigent circumstance, which is hot pursuit. But what this case stands for is that even when that exigent circumstance does exist, that the exception to a home entry should rarely be sanctioned when probable cause to believe that is only a minor offense has been committed. So that exception does not apply when the offense is minor.
Well, I think your cases don't specifically say that if somebody is in fresh pursuit of somebody, that they can't enter the home. I mean, I'm just not finding that in your two cases. Because in your two cases, it's not fresh pursuit. So unless you can show me a case that says that if they're.
I mean, the fresh pursuit is
The
a,
one, they're looking for somebody who's missing or right? And then the other one, they witnessed the incident in the garage.
All right, well, in
They're
response
not
to,
chasing somebody.
in response to that argument, there's no authority that exists that justifies to justify a warrantless arrest in someone's home when
But your cases don't say that anything regarding fresh pursuit. So unless you can show me
right,
something.
but fresh pursuit is the exigent circumstance.
Well, no, there's many types of exigent
Right,
circumstances.
and so these cases apply to all
You're
of them.
interrupting me, so
Okay.
let me finish. There are many types of exigent circumstances, specifically if there's destruction of drugs or evidence or things of that nature. So, or harm to somebody or another person. Those are also deemed exigent circumstances. So, I'm gonna find that there's probable cause. However, does he qualify for pretrial
That's
release?
what I was gonna ask. We did get a chance to interview him,
Okay.
but I'm verifying his address with David. It does match up with his address that we have on file. Just wanted to straight trial release, we can do that for this third wall.
So it looks like is his address 3115 Marathon Avenue?
Yes, ma'am.
That's what we have here on.
Okay. So, do you want me to do straight
Straight PTR,
PTR?
yes.
Okay. So it'll be pretrial release. Mr. Walther, you're gonna need to have to make sure that you follow all the requirements of pretrial release, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, please tell me your name.
Anthony Galloway.
All right, do we know what happened to Mr. DeLeon? Okay. And we'll just reset him one more time. And then you're Mr. Galloway. All right, you're here in 2019 CF 9120AO. You were arrested for driving while license revoked as a habitual traffic offender. I do find probable cause. I don't have a form for the public defender. Did you fill out a form?
Yes.
No, we don't have one? Okay. I usually can't read anything on that. So let me just take your testimony about it, okay? Do you work?
Yes, ma'am.
Where do you work?
I work for A Staffing.
Okay, and then do you get paid weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly?
Yes, ma'am.
Which
Weekly.
one? Weekly, how much do you get paid per week? After taxes?
About 540, something like that.
Okay, and then do you have any children
Yes.
that you claim as dependents?
No.
Do you
No, I
pay
don't.
child support?
Yes.
Okay, how many children?
How many children do I have? I got 8 kids.
8 kids?
Yeah.
Okay, I think you're gonna qualify for the public defender.
It's okay.
So I'm gonna appoint them to represent you. And, you're not to drive without a valid license, Mr. Galloway,
Well,
okay?
can I explain?
No, you can't explain. Please don't explain anything, okay?
Okay, I
Please,
mean-
because anything you say can and will be used against you. So,
I was trying to go.
just don't, it's not gonna help your case right now, okay? So I am gonna stay the bond at the $2,500.
Your
Don't
Honor.
drive without a valid license.
And I'll just point out what Mr. Galloway, I'll just point out, Mr. Galloway was on the way to the hospital. He's experiencing a medical emergency. I think at that point, when you're experiencing a medical emergency, you are allowed to transport
I
yourself.
think that's a defense.
Right, it is a defense, but we would ask based on that, and that defense is evidenced by the affidavit arrest where he was sick, that all of a sudden he.
I
Okay.
read it.
And, Your Honor, so we would ask the bond be lowered.
I don't have a face sheet for him,
Okay.
so I don't even know his history.
And Your Honor, I don't have the case off the top of my head, but I believe just because you are experiencing medical emergency is actually not a reason. Like, the case law is very clear on what constitutes an emergency as far as you driving. I mean, you can't call 911, there's nobody else that can drive you, and that's usually a motion to suppress.
Yeah. But I'm gonna take a look at the face sheet, okay? So I've got 5 failures to appear, 10 felonies, 19 misdemeanors. A long criminal history here. And it's really all just financial. No. No. I don't think 2,500 is that unreasonable considering the driving history and the history here and failures to appear, but, so, I'm gonna keep it at the 2,500. All right, are we calling Mr. Wilson?
Yes, Your Honor, I believe he's coming.
Okay.
And Your Honor, that guy that gave bond and PTR to David McQueen, we can't do the PTR. And the reason why I'm saying that, because that stalking charge is considered a dangerous crime.
Right, but it's bond plus
Yeah, but we still
PTR.
can't, we still can't do it though. We can't do the PTR.
I was told that I was allowed to do bond plus PTR.
No. And then also he's on probation too, so that.
I know, I just signed his VOP affidavit,
Yeah.
so, okay, well, we'll strike the PTR, he's gonna be held no bond on the
So they
VOP.
could see adding order out to maybe, you know.
Thank you.
All right, are you Mr. Wilson?
One second.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
Sure, hold on,
I have a hard hearing now.
all right, we'll get you some headphones.
Okay, that's good.
So we have to strike that, okay, you got it, okay. Hi, Mr. Wilson, how you doing?
All right, how you?
I'm good, thank you. All right, looks like you're here in a couple cases. 2015 CF 911AO. You were arrested for pursuant to a capias for failing to appear for your status hearing on April 12, 2019. And the judge in that case set your bond at none on each count. He revoked your conditional release and he put on the capias that you're to be brought in front of him within the next business day of arrest. So you're gonna see Judge Cast, I think it's Judge Cast in Division 20, I believe. I think Judge Cast is in Division 20. Okay, so you're gonna see him on that. I'm gonna make sure, I'm gonna contact his JA and make sure you get on the docket. And then your 2016 CF 10926AO, failure to appear. And the judge, that was for a status hearing on April 12th, and Judge Kess revoked your release and is indicating he wants you brought before him within 1 business day. In 2012 CF 16190AO, you failed to appear. You were arrested pursuant to the capias on 4 counts. And your bond is set at none on those, and he revoked your release in those cases, and he's gonna have you brought before him within 1 business day. Same thing in 2015 CF 15005AO. Your bond's none in that case as well for failing to appear for a status hearing on April 12th. And he put on there that he's gonna see you within 1 day, business day. 2015 CF 910AO, failed to appear for a status hearing on April 12th, 2019, and he revoked your release, and he's gonna see you within 1 business day, so I'm gonna make sure you get it back on that docket pretty quickly, okay? And he does have the PD in all those cases, right? You do have the PD, okay? So,
All right, I will,
I should have said something to her. I don't know if she know I got hit by a car. Reason I had that peer-to-peer. Yeah.
all right, Mr. Mason, did you just wanna come visit me?
No, Your Honor, I just wanted to express something briefly when I'm done investigating.
Do you need it on the record, or?
Yes,
I don't know
I
what you're
do,
here
Your
for, okay.
I don't want to interfere with what's currently.
So it's a case that we don't, there is no Orange County case any longer holding the defendant in custody. Defendant, I guess, has probation out of Colorado, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. Or what?
And
No longer.
No longer has probation, so there was a 5-day hold. Speaking to Ms. Robin a moment ago, the 5-day hold ends today at 5 p.m. And so the defendant should be released today sometime after the 5-day hold, which is 5 p.m. today. Mr. Mason, I believe, wants Your Honor on the record to order that the jail is to release him if no VOP is received by 5 p.m. today, that he get released tonight.
Where's the VOP out of?
So there is no violation.
Right.
So, Your Honor, what had happened is my client got arrested, or my client was out on a charge of trafficking in MDMA. While out on that charge, he got another charge, which was a burglary with a battery therein. The charge sounds great, but it was a fight. Before Judge Maureen Bell, Judge Bell granted a $3,500 bond on the battery with a burglary therein. I believe, and I apologize for not knowing your names, we don't get to hear them, but the two madams that are sitting to our right were here for that. So they granted the $3,500 bond. This VOP issue kind of hold came up, but it didn't present itself yet because we still had the bond revoked on the MDMA. So the MDA, we went before the court reinstated the $50,000 bond. There is no violation of probation because there is no probation, yet the jail has him on a violent felony offender special confirmed hold. But that would only be if you're actually on probation, but he's not. But coincidentally, the madams to my right are telling me that even regardless of that today that should end. So today at 5, it should be cleared out. I spoke with Mr. Norman yesterday, though, who had told me they're holding my client indefinitely, not his problem. And I've been on the phone with him for a while. So I just want to make sure that if tonight nothing goes through, that there is something in a record, in a note, in a court file that says it is his problem, he needs to resolve it to make sure the defendant's released.
Do we have the defendant's name? Do you want to put that on
Yes,
the record?
I'm sorry, the defendant's name is Jeffrey Stein.
Okay, and do we have some case numbers that you want to put on the record?
That's the problem. He's released on everything. There's no
Okay,
case
so it's
number.
just this
I have a
whole-
jail number.
Okay.
Your Honor, I can put just for the record, so it's on for the jail record number. Is the defendant's booking number is 190187771. And the 2 cases that are currently pending in Orange County, there is no holds. He's been bonded out and released, so there's nothing holding this man.
Okay, so is everybody in agreement that he should be released by, 5 p.m. today?
It's after 5 p.m.
After
After
5 p.m.? Okay. Everybody is in agreement with that? Okay, so I don't necessarily know if I have jurisdiction to order them to release somebody.
So I mean, I guess we could do it under the MDMA case or the burglary case.
Like, how do you want me to do it? What's the easiest way for you all to?
If you just want to put it on the record, Your Honor.
Okay, defendant should be released from the hold because he's not on probation. Out of what state?
Colorado.
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 And he should be released after 5 p.m. today.
Correct. So my concern now is we put that on the record, but should we assign that to a case, or what should we do with that?
No, what will happen is our supervisor on B shift, once 5 o'clock comes, they have a list of these 5-day holds, okay? His name should be on it for us to release him today after 5 o'clock. But that's always been a responsibility of B shift after the 5 days are up. And if DOC doesn't issue a warrant, they release that 5-day hold.
So my one concern, and again, I appreciate everything
And I don't
that we're
even
doing,
have
is
this
if you guys are not present after 5 PM,
It's B shift.
I have no piece of paper to call up the jail and go, hey, look.
I can give you information. I can give you how many.
I can't generate court
Can we- do you
minutes
think-
for
So
something
can we do it,
right
can we
now.
do it under his case from the burglary with assault therein, just to have a case number and a record to say it? Do you understand what I'm saying? From the
But it
CF
still won't clear the hold though, even if you do it under that.
Yeah, it's not gonna I don't think it's gonna matter.
That, you know, even if she released them on that, they won't.
Well, we could still, the court order saying we've addressed holds with the jail should release all holds.
If they're gonna
Because we
contact
could-
that,
My concern with this is.
I understand the concern. Hold on one second. So are you all gonna contact whoever the duty person is?
Your Honor, I
Okay.
already sent the email to our senior officer. And she said the hold will be taken off after 5 PM today. They will check if there is an active VOP warrant. If there is, they will have it served. But give them 5 days now. They have 5 days. It hasn't happened yet.
Right.
So.
My only concern is I know that we cleared it up with Nikki Dickerson 5 days ago, and that was my only concern. Is that we had already went through this to show that there was no VOP, but they're still holding him on a VOP that doesn't exist.
Was that me? Was I here?
Not you.
Okay. I don't
No,
remember
it was
that.
Judge, it
Okay.
was Judge, that was a weekend rotation. My
Oh,
concern is
okay.
I can't come back to you tomorrow because tomorrow's Saturday.
I don't know what else I can do. I think they've contacted the right person and
So,
they're pretty responsible.
We have a list downstairs. If you,
So
you have to, do you have to leave right now?
no, I'm fine, just my concern is that I trust you guys. My concern is you guys send the email, I get B shift at 5 o'clock and they go, eh.
I gave her the name, the information, so they have it.
Okay. Can I get a printout of the email
Well,
potentially?
yeah, and
That
what
could
I'm
do
gonna
that?
do is, I'm gonna go downstairs and check that list myself.
They have IAs on Saturdays here too.
Huh?
I mean, they have court here on Saturdays, so if you had to
Yeah,
come
but
back.
Mr. Mason doesn't want to come.
Oh, yeah, I know.
It's a whole,
I know.
There's a different vibe.
it's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
It's
I got it.
not at all like. It's the la la la.
I understand the concern.
I appreciate it.
So-
Thank you for addressing it, Your Honor.
No, it's fine. So I'm sure they'll get you an email or some paperwork so that if for some reason he's not released after 5, I don't know what that means, 5:01 or 11:30, 11:59, I don't know.
At least if they start, I don't care if he gets out at 11 o'clock tonight, but as long as at 5 o'clock they start processing him.
Processing, okay.
But for the past days, is they just won't process him because they're just holding him.
Okay,
Thank you, Your Honor, that's all I have, ma'am. Excuse-
no,
Yes,
of
please.
course. Thank you so much, everybody, have a good weekend.